This is Oscar Bevis for the Stomping Ground, powered by Wow Hydrating, available on the zone. Apologies for the rough voice, a loud one at Wembley Stadium last night. Dave Coldwell joins me. How's life, my friend?
Very good, thank you. Very good. You know what? I was just happy to be there last night. Unbelievable setting, production. What a stage and one event. And when you have production values like that, you want the fight to deliver, and it certainly did.
If I can ask you just straight off the bat, what surprised you most about the fight last night?
Um, the fact it was a sustained mauling, a sustained one-sided mauling. I I said going into the fight that the only thing that would surprise me would be if it went the distance. I could see both men have got the capabilities of beating the other. Um, I felt that the key for Daniel was the jab because everybody talks about how he's got such a powerful jab. It's like a right hand. It's persistent. He's very good with how he makes use of the jab. But I thought that the jab would open up for him to land to the body and go to the body. I thought that would be a key before he'd nail him with the right hand. But he didn't even need his body shots. He hardly worked the body. Even when he backed him up, he hardly worked the body. He didn't do anything, you know, complicated. He came out and he established his jab right from round one, right from the start. And as soon as that jab started rocking AJ's head back, he had the foothold in the fight, and he never, ever, ever let it go and never give AJ an inch in that. And that was very impressive. How he found, he knew what works for him. He was hell bent on getting that off straight away. And once he got that off, he took full advantage of it, and he hunted AJ down, and he basically mauled him.
Yeah, I mean, every train is different, but I just want to know from your perspective. Obviously, Ben Davison and his team would have put a game plan to AJ. When things unravel so quickly, what would you go about saying? Do you try and implement the game plan still with a few tweaks? Do you develop a new game plan mid-round? Because round
It's
one,
it
it just unraveled straight away.
yeah, listen, it's all trainers work different, and it depends on the fighter that you're working with as well. I think the most important thing is so round one he's getting nailed with a jab, and he gets hurt really badly at the end of the round, gets dropped. That was a defensive error. Going back in a straight line, lift the chin up, hands low. I couldn't believe the hand positioning of him, of when he gets caught with the shot, with the head position. Um, but once that's happened, you have to sometimes, again, this is different. It's only my perspective. I I like to, yes, you have an idea of what I want you to do, but it's all theory. And then when you're in there, it's different because it's like when you watch it. All fighters, all coaches watch, and all fighters watch. Not all fighters, but all coaches watch their opponents and have an idea. But you've got to also, the fighters got to also be able to adapt in that ring to what's happening in live time, because things can be different. It's not theory, it's practical. So it's like, straight away the jab's nailing him, nailing. You can see that's the key to success. Jab's nailing him, then he gets caught with the right hand. Rather than perhaps if you in your head you want to get him back straight away, you're looking for that shot straight away. Maybe it's like I've just said it with Andre Ward against Kovalev. Kovalev's jab starts nailing straight away. Then the right hand drops Andre Ward. All Andre Ward did for the next couple of rounds after that was looking at ways to take away that jab and losing that rhythm that the opponent's got. You know, that's the first thing that you would want to do. But you're dealing with a fighter that's just possibly concussed, maybe a little bit of worry, stress, panic sets in. Um, Maybe the things that have been drilled are lost there, and that's where it is a case of having the calmness and the discipline of the mentality to be able to just minimalize things just to shut the attacks down. If that means grabbing hold for the next minute, 2 minutes, and stinking the place out for a round or two, do it. Do it to get the rhythm taken away from the opposition and to just establish yourself, your head clear, you get your legs back, and then you can then reset and then get back to work yourself, getting your own jab, stealing little shots. The most important thing for me is when you get hit with a big shot, is don't get hit again. Is shut it down. Easiest thing to do there instead of just defending with your hands up where they can punch through and they can still have some momentum, still feel good. Is frustrate and grab hold. But again, you don't know if they're able to think clearly, or sometimes they just need that instruction, or it's just blind panic. Without being there, without knowing what was going on, I'm sat in a seat quite a way back watching the screen, so I don't know what's going on, between that dynamic or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I've never been in the ring, of course, with Daniel Dubois, so this is just, I guess, guesswork from me. But could you nitpick what's good about his style? Because I look at it and think he looks like he's got quite deceivingly quick feet, but it also looks like, and I don't want to use the word because we're talking about a man who's just beaten Anthony Joshua better than he's ever been beaten, but it looks quite basic. It looks like a pretty basic stand-up style.
Yeah, it doesn't overcomplicate things. He has got a very, very good jab. Uh, The jab's the best weapon in boxing if you know how to use it and if you commit to it. And that's what I want to use. There you go. Fighters can win titles with jabs. That's it. It's just a jab, just a jab. He's got a very, very good jab. The jab is right. He's powerful as well. From when you speak to anybody that's being hit by it, it's powerful. It's offsetting. It ruffles your feathers. It makes you think, fuck, if that's his jab, I don't want to get it with the right hand. The jab's not meant to be a powerful weapon as such, but everybody fears Daniel's jab once they start getting hit with it. And he knows what he wants to do. He wants to just get in there and maul you. And he mauled AJ. He bullied AJ. He used his physicalities with him. He didn't let him have a second to breathe. So yes, it was quite basic. It didn't do anything overtly complex, but he's very effective. You see a lot of good fighters that when you look at them on face value, you think, well, they don't know anything special, but they keep winning. They're very good at what they do. What they do works for them. Sometimes you can have a fighter that tries to do too much, tries to be a little bit flash and feels, oh, well, I need to throw 3 and 4 punch combinations when 1 and 2 punches at a time might work in that situation. It's what suits. You have to find what you're good at and build around that. And you might be good at things that I'm not, and I'll be good at things that you're not. So just because we train in the same gym or whatever like that doesn't mean that we'll do the same things. Do you know what I mean? It's got to be what's going to work for your natural sort of style, your mechanics, your vulnerabilities, to mask your vulnerabilities. So Daniel, I feel as though Don knows what works for Daniel up there, as well as the physical side of things. And it's working. It's working. When you can watch people people used to do it about Bellew all the time. Watch Bellew he's not that good. He's not great. Keeps winning. Jamie McDonnell, same. Gavin McDonnell, same. You look at people, you look at certain fighters, think, well, he's not that good, but they keep winning. British, Commonwealth, European, world titles. They must be effective at what they do. Just because they're not shoe shining and throwing a million combinations and doing all flash stuff, it doesn't mean that it's like you can have slow feet, but they can be very good feet. So you might have faster feet than me, but I might know where to put them that makes up for that. So that gives me my distance, my timing, takes away your distance, your timing. But yet my feet are slower on the shit compared to yours. Yours can do all these angles and stuff like that, but yours are quite basic. Look at there's fighters like Golovkin, Beterbiev, people like that. You would never a lot of people would never talk to them about their footwork. You wouldn't think footwork, but their footwork is fantastic because they know where to place them. Might not be as fast as others, but and Daniel, I've never seen Daniel live, so I've only ever watched him on TV. So I would like to watch him live close, so I can see things like that. Um, but yeah, it's one thing watching fighters on TV or at a distance and watching fighters up close. You always get a greater appreciation. Like I was always a massive fan of Lomachenko, but then when I watched him live, I was literally 2 rows away, and I'm watching him. You just see so much more, you know. Same as Usyk, I spent hours and hours and hours fucking studying him, everything that he does. But then when I'm watching him live, you just see the subtle things, and those little subtle things can sometimes not be picked up,
Yeah.
until you're in there with him.
Yeah. Just on the mental factor as well. I remember I said this to Frank in fight week. Dubois been in big fights. The fight against Oleksandr Usyk in Poland was massive, but he'd been dragged from pillar to post on fight week. Just on the Monday, there was 50 Saudi media, 97,000 at Wembley Stadium. He's never been the most out there character. I saw a clip
Mm.
after where Frank went into the change room and he looked at Frank and said, Frank, I want to go. I want to leave. I want to get out of here. Just want to be with my family and celebrate.
Yeah.
All the mental pressure that's been applied on Daniel Dubois as well to go in and blank everything out. How actually impressive has this week been for Daniel?
It's not just this week. I feel as though the mental growth is shown coming off the back of the Joyce, the Usyk fights, even the was it Kevin Loreno where he got dropped and little things like that. Those sort of performances where there's lots of doubts and you doubt his mentality and he's to have that noise around you, and then you're going into a fight like this where it's at Wembley, and you can go on boxing Poland, you can be the underdog, and you can be in the away fighter in front of 20,000 people. That's nothing like being in front of 90 plus. That when you're there in the crowd and you look around, you just realize just how big Wembley Stadium is when it's full, and you just see that little ring in the middle. And you must think, when you get in that ring and you look around and you see how far, because the camera lights are on and everything, so you just see all this banking camera lights going forever. It must look massive. When you're walking out and you're doing that long ring walking out like that, just must feel massive. So the mentality for any fighter that's going through that is incredible. For him to go out there and perform, I think it's a different mentality. But the growth that he's shown since the Usyk fight to Jarrell Miller, while we got through that, then to Hrgovic, how his mentality seemed to be, no matter what you do to me, I'm going through you. And he seemed to have that as well last night. He had that again last night. I just think that's part of him. I think he's come through. He's come through the doubts and he's got through. Got past the demons in his head, and he's found a way to cope. And like you say, he's got no interest in speaking in media. He's got that little bit of that clip at the press conference where AJ's talking to him, and then all of a sudden he just blanked out, zoned out, didn't have a clue what he'd said. You know what I mean? But that's just him. It's how he's not hard. He just wants to fight. He just wants to punch people in the head really, really hard. That's it. And it's working for him. And even in his moment of glory in the ring and after like that, he's not interested in having a long, elaborate interview in the ring. He just wants to go and celebrate with the people that he gives a shit about, really. Which is fair play. Whatever works in this sport, because it's a very, very hard sport mentally to cope with. The ups and the downs, it's very, very hard. And if you have a certain way of coping with it, and if that's a small group of people that are away from the cameras, then go do it. You've earned it.
Yeah, I will say I really enjoy how excited he gets after dropping a killer one-liner.
Yeah.
He drops it and he's just smiling like, did anyone see what I just done?
Yeah. But listen, boxing's a good slice of all walks of life. And all walks of life have different personalities. You've got personalities in there that can go in there and just talk and just Tyson Fury can sing straight after a fight and he loves all that. You know, you've got others that just don't want to. They've got no interest in it, and if they can fight and the world heavyweight champion, they kind of got a license to deal with it exactly how they want to do it.
Yeah, no, I love the silent killer approach almost that we're getting from Daniel. In terms of last night, so I heard someone say that British boxing might have needed an AJ win because you look around, like we said, 97,000, and the majority were there because of Anthony Joshua, what he's given us. He's been a brilliant, almost salesman for British boxing and helped it increase over the last 10, 15 years. Do you
Yeah.
think Daniel Dubois can replicate such?
No, because there are many, many, many very good fighters out there, but they don't catch the public's attention in terms of following and paying money from things because they haven't got the personality side of things. The people are drawn to personalities. You only got to look at the influx and the success of like the influencer YouTube market. It's not because of people don't go and watch them box because they're talented. They go because they're engaged in the characters and they follow the characters' personalities. Anthony Joshua's like, him and Eddie Hearn have built a hell of a juggernaut together. He's a personality that people are going to engage with, whether they like him or not. Tyson Fury is a personality that people can engage with, whether they like him or not. Tyson Fury, Dillian White, 90,000 people, whatever it were, at Wembley Stadium. AJ done Wembley multiple times, Cardiff. These guys sell to non-boxing fans. They cross over to non-boxing fans. But that's because the man on the street hears them speak or sees the character or does what, sees them on billboards all the time. I remember a few years back, we went to Florida, I think it was, walked into Under Armour in Florida. Giant wall, just AJ. Things like that. You go into different countries and you're seeing their faces. They transcend the sport. In order to sell football stadiums, you need to be a bit more than just targeting boxing fans. I don't know if Daniel will do that because although he's heavyweight champion and he's from the UK, I do think you need to have the personality side of him. Although he's got an endearing personality where you do warm to him. I've never met the guy. Oh, I've said hello to him. Sorry, I've met him once, said hello to him, and that is it. But I don't know him. But he does come across as that kind of guy that you like, you know what I mean? Because he is a bit endearing in that sort of terms. But whether that transfers to your normal football fans or yeah, male, female, grandma, granddad, or whatever. I don't know. You got to think AJ is a generational sort of draw. We had Ricky Hatton that had such a massive appeal, but AJ I think took it onto another level. I don't I don't know who's the next one that can do that. I think I tweeted earlier on today. I don't know if in my lifetime I'll see somebody that has consistently been as big for the sport as in the UK. I'm not talking about Canelo, in the UK as a British fighter over the last decade or so. You look at if you added up the amount of gate that he's been generating, not financial, I'm talking about numbers, amount of tickets, amount of stadiums, arenas, how many times O2's full, how many times, Wembley's full, Cardiff, right? If you add up those ticket sales and you add up the amount of viewers that have tuned in for an AJ fight, eyeballs on him and the sport, I don't think we're going to get that again in my lifetime. Unless somebody comes along and you think, well, right, there, because he seems to have ticked all the boxes. He was like the corporate side of things, the man on the street, everything, males, females, grandmas, granddads, everybody talk about him. Everybody would have an opinion on him. And then whether when it's kind of switched where then 50% went to Fury and 50% with him, he's still being talked about, still being engaged. He's still where people have got an opinion on him. I don't know if we'll have anybody that brings them kind of numbers again. I'm not talking about ability and what he's achieved. I'm not talking about achievement. I'm talking about pure what you've done to bring the light and to lift this British boxing up. Look at the fighters that have had opportunities on his undercards and things like that. I've had fighters on his undercards. It's I think I've had Jane McDonnell defending a world title. I've had Bellew on there. I've had Jordan on there. Hopefully, Price boxing in Saudi. There's a lot of fighters that have had a lot of opportunities on the back of the AGA train. So we have to be grateful for that, and I think the sport needs big flagship, flag bearers, somebody that can pull everybody else up with them, and fighters can come through on the undercard, and then they can go on to their successes and hopefully then become stars as well. But you need those, and for that you need characters. You need characters that can also fight.
Yeah, just on the conversation that we had after Ruiz #1, Usyk #1, Usyk #2, and everyone was having again after the Daniel Dubois fight last night. Is it time for AJ to hang it up?
It's something that listen, you can't. He's not an old man. He's got to have a conversation with himself and maybe one or two close people that he's got around him. And if it's the right reasons that he wants to carry on, carry on. But if he was to walk away now, I think it's been a hell of a ride. But listening to what he's saying, I don't think he's going to walk away now. And there's a lot of fighters that are out there right now that have took a lot more punishment than him and a lot more, punching than what he is, that maybe you think shouldn't be boxing, and they're still boxing. So if Anthony Joshua wants to carry on, why not? It's not the fight that it used to be, and it won't ever be the fight that it used to be. And this is a bit of a lesson to the promoters, to managers, and to fighters. Don't be greedy. When there's a fight as big as Fury against AJ, when they were both there, get it made. Because we've missed out on the biggest fight in British boxing history. At its best, we've missed out. We may still get it. If AJ carries on, we may still get it. I hope we get it, because it's kind of like Kell against Hearn. Never happened at the peak. But you're still glad it happened, because we still got a great night. It was just one-sided, and one man had a lot less left than the other.
Right, you're right though. There was still that satisfaction of we've seen,
but we're still seeing it. We wish we'd had it a few years earlier, but at least we're still seeing it. And I feel as though AJ Fury is still that fight. I know a lot of people can say, "Oh, I've got no interest in that now. Oh, they're done. He's done. Blah blah." But he's still going to want to watch it. I guarantee you.
Do we need Fury to? Do we need Fury to win for that fight?
I can't. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. That's not a given. But even if he didn't, if Fury carried on, if Fury wanted to carry on, then really that's the only fight. That's that. Just get it done, because at least it's still a massive fight. It doesn't mean, in the grand scheme of things, the same as what it did or what it would have done. But it's like Manny Pacquiao and Mayweather. That happened 5 years too late, and when that happened, it's a bit of a damn squib. But it happened. I'd rather these fights happen than not happen. Lennox Lewis against Mike Tyson. Tyson was past his sell-by date by the time that fight happened. But at least we got it. Do you know what I mean? I think it is already. It's sad that it never happened when they were both. Because you look at Fury now, and you look at Fury's vulnerable now. AJ's vulnerable now. So going into the fight, you still don't know. You still don't know. Listen, Fury don't hit as hard as Daniel Dubois. So you still don't know, and no matter what, it's not like AJ is shot to shit and he can't punch and he can't throw and he's, and it's just not the fight it once was. It's still intriguing. It still be exciting, and you'll still want to see it. But I think that's the only fight that, yeah, that I think right now. But I say that, but this division right now is chopping and changing. Around, the mix. You think you go back 12 months, 18 months, maybe. Everyone talking about Joe Joyce. Everybody was writing off Bacoli because Bacoli Bacoli weren't looking all that, and now Bacoli's now red hot. Joe Joyce is kind of done. Joseph Parker was the one that was getting battered off for Joe Joyce, and now Joseph Parker's one of the elite heavyweights now. It's just chopping and changing, chopping and changing. So who knows? I think if Usyk beats Fury, I think Usyk retires, and so the belts become vacant, and who knows? AJ could end up winning a world title. You can't write him off because you don't know what's happening with this division at the moment. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know. If it's down to AJ and the people around him to make the right decision in terms of, is he carrying on for the right reasons?
Yeah. Well, I was looking at some of the black bits of tarpaulin last night and thinking we could get 98,000 in, 99,000 for Fury AJ, no matter whether Fury's to lose or not. In terms of Daniel Dubois, what heavyweights do you think do beat Daniel after last night?
To be,
Or who going as favourite against Daniel Dubois, would you say, after last night, out of anyone in the scene?
I just think it's an open division right now. I think it's a really wide open division right now. I think anybody's capable of beating anybody, and everybody's capable of losing to everybody. I think, at the top, I just think it's difficult. I like to see. I'd like to see Joseph Parker get a big fight. I think he deserves it. I'd like to see him against Dubois. Zhile Zhang against Dubois be fun. But I think they're all. You've got to give Daniel Dubois credit, and I don't know who'd be favourite. I don't know who'd be favourite to beat because he's got that power, he's got that rawness. But I think Parker's a good fight. I think Parker's a real good fight because Parker's cagey, clever, tricky. He's got a new lease of life with Andy Lee. That'd be a good fight.
Yeah. Yeah, so many good fights to be made. Like you said, if you were to look at the division 18 months ago and compare it to now, completely
If
chopped.
I'm the new kid on the block, Moses Atuma, I'm thinking, I'm watching you lot. You're all coming to this, and I'm gonna start picking you off. If you
That
carry on, I'm gonna start.
34 type age
Mm.
with a
Because he's
few.
a baby. He's a baby, and I think he's gonna have the benefit of these guys when they go. Who else has come into Daniel will be the one because Daniel's only 26 and he's gonna improve on the back of you look at how he's improving at the moment and he's gonna improve on Daniel Dubois against McCauley. That's what I want to see. That's a fun fight. That's a fun I've got no skin in that game as a fan. I want to see that fight because that is just like brutal. So yeah, that's the fight I want to see now. Is Daniel Dubois against Martin McCullough.
Yeah.
Bombs away.
And Martin Bacoli, even if Daniel is throwing them big shots, is going to be taking absolutely no shit. Frank Warren will be in a hard place. Moses Atuma, Daniel Dubois in quite a few years.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And it is a few years. I mean, I won't be. I know there's talk about him wanting to be the youngest ever, but I think he's got all the attributes to be very, very good. As long as he's not rushed. Do you know what I mean? But then again, you look at who's like I said, the ages of the fighters at the top, and kind of like comes to that age where he could end up picking them off, in 12 months' time, and getting a world title shot sooner rather than later. You just don't know. Like I said, this division right now it's wide open. It's wide open. They're all looking pretty much like they can beat each other. It's exciting times, but there's no. I don't think there's going to be a dominant heavyweight for for a bit. I think it needs a little bit of restructuring.
Yeah, mate, can't wait. Some brilliant fights are going to be happening over the next few years. Just the last question before we finish. I know there was a massive undercard, but if you could just pick one moment or one thing from any of the undercard fights last night, what kind of stood out to you? Was it controversy, a brilliant performance?
Yeah, say what controversial from
Cards,
what
what
I
are the
see.
cards doing in a few of the fights?
What the Boatsy fight? Was it the Boatsy fight with the scorecard?
The Buatsi fight, the Josh Kelly fight.
Yeah, that's it. The Josh Kelly card. I was like, what were they on about? I mean, I know. Listen, I know it wasn't the most exciting, entertaining fight, but they couldn't have fallen asleep during it because that's the only way that you can say it was that close. I mean, the end was good. The end was like, whoa, shit. Um, but I mean, all credit to Ishmael Davis stepping in at 6 days' notice and doing what he did. Um, but Kelly was just controlling the fight, doing what he wanted, working when he wanted, moving around. Um, but how can it be losing rounds? It couldn't. I just didn't see it. I was like, what? What?
Yeah,
Mad.
yeah, mate.
Yeah,
No idea. I think everyone was just as confused. Dave, really appreciate your time. Enjoy your Sunday, and I'm sure I will see you in Sheffield next week.
yeah, definitely. Can't wait for that show. GBM show, really good show, man. Really good show.